Hey everybody!
Hello.
We're back once again. We are now in South Knoxville. We're back in our home area. If we could just find a home.
Lots of updates.
Lots of updates. Unlike our last one in Greenville where we were kind of like, meh, status quo. There's been a lot of activity. So to go back to our last couple weeks in Greenville, Paul went back to Minnesota for his friend's,
Celebrations of life.
Yes. So he went back to really cold Minnesota temperatures, and Rudy and I sat outside and had enjoyed our 50, 60 degree days. So sorry about that.
It was about as cold as it is here now.
That's true. We're going through a little cold snap. We finally in Greenville had some barbecue. I don't know why we waited so long, but it turned out it was a little disappointing.
It was all right.
It was okay.
Not great.
The brisket doesn't seem to be very common down there. We couldn't seem to find it anywhere. Whatever. Their sweet potato casserole was on point. It was so good. It was a dessert. Loved it. The hurricane hit apparently some of South Carolina too. We just not too far from our house there was a big empty lot where they had everyone clear out the fallen trees and stuff from their yard. The city came and picked it up and then brought it to this place to wood chip it and whatever. And I got a picture of it because it's just, you can't even tell from the picture how far back it goes. But it's just, I don't know how many thousands of trees were taken in that storm, but they're still recovering there for sure.
And Hot Springs, North Carolina that we drove through to get back was still recovering.
There's still tents set up. I don't know if people are still living in there, but I mean, there's some cold days in the mountains, and then there's a row of tents set up in that city. It's sad. Paul was very excited about and wanted to include in the video a big milestone. My first gray hair.
There might be a whole bunch in there. You just can't see it.
I spotted it at the top of my head, and I was like, is this thing gray? And he's like, you gotta cut it out. You gotta cut it out so we can compare it to another hair. And so then we actually, I think it was that shirt. We laid them side by side, and sure enough, I have gray hair.
Yes. I probably caused it.
Yeah, it's got your name all over it. And house hunting.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them.
Our last weekend in Greenville, our friends Geraldine and Jesse actually drove down. They had never been to Greenville, South Carolina, and they wanted to come scope it out. So we hosted, even though we didn't really know much about the town ourselves. But we had a really good time with them. We went to, it's called Gather GVL. It is a food hall in Greenville, which basically they took a whole bunch of containers from container ships and kind of made this big open square with an outdoor in the center. And I don't know, 12 or so restaurants, food trucks, whatever, in all those containers. And it was really cool there.
Yeah, it was cool.
I loved the environment. They had live music going. We got Philly cheesesteak, which is drool worthy. I will attach a picture because it's nuts. And then we got garlic Parmesan waffle fries as well. And they were both good. You were recovering from a cold that you caught back in Minnesota or on the way back from Minnesota. So I had to eat most of it, sorry.
I think it tasted okay.
Then after we were done eating there and chilling, we walked back into downtown Greenville and took them to the falls there. So I got to walk around the waterfall downtown. It was really warm. It was really busy compared to the first time you and I went there. It was on a weekday. It was chilly.
This was a weekend.
No one to be seen. It was a weekend. It was super busy.
Nice. Yeah.
Is a different look at Greenville than we had prior. Then the next day we went hiking at Paris Mountain State Park, and it was actually it was 10 minutes from the house we were staying at, so super close.
It's a good hike.
It was a good hike. It was longer and tougher than we expected, but it was fun.
Yep. It wasn't that tough. It was just...
There was a couple parts that were a little muddy and washed out that we had to slop through and go uphill, but it was fun. And then a few days later, Paul and I went to the Conisty Nature Preserve in Greenville, it was an 80-degree day. It was warm.
It was.
And so we went on this trail that was supposed to be a 3-mile loop. Apparently, the nature preserve had been hit fairly hard by the hurricane and hadn't fully cleaned up from it. So we have pictures of like closed sections of trail, and then come to find out the last part of the 3-mile loop was actually closed down because of the hurricane. And so we decided, okay, well, I guess we're gonna walk all the way back around. We ended up getting lost, not paying attention.
Turned out to be a long hike,
It was a really long hike.
but we managed.
We ended up in a parking lot. We're like, what the hell did we do wrong? We had to backtrack all the way and then go back around the loop again. So it was probably like a 5-mile hike.
Yeah.
But it was cool. As usual, we had our Bluebell Feast, and here's the flavors we had this month.
Again, they didn't disappoint.
They never do. We then traveled to South Knoxville, where we are right now, with our next rental. Every rental provides its own challenges, and this one is not disappointing in that respect. Lots of challenges, and no filtered water, so we've been buying bottled and refilling bottles. Not fun. And no dishwasher.
But it's close to a pool hall.
It is within
The location's great.
less than a mile to a brand new pool hall that Paul has
It's a really cool place. I
hit
love
up a
it.
few times already. So we arrived here on a Saturday, and then the next day on Sunday, there was an open house that we went to alone, and then we met up with our realtor who brought us to 3 more houses. The open house was really good. We loved the house. It kind of checked all of our big important boxes. That we needed room for a pool table, room for a garden, open floor plan, all that. It had a lot of storage. It was perfect. So we're like, oh my gosh. So we met with our realtor, saw the other 3 houses. They were like, meh. And we were like, do you want to come back with us to come look at this house? Because we really like it. And so she came back with us, and she was like, these are really nice. So we put in an offer that night. And kind of worked it out. It got accepted. We hired an inspector, and that's where it all went to hell. Go ahead, I'll let you.
Well, first of all, thank goodness we have a very good, thorough inspector. We'll be using him again. But it turned out he found that there had been a fire in the attic at some point in time. Couldn't tell when. And then the crawl space underneath the house, he couldn't even get in there, but he was able to see well enough that there was all sorts of standing water and evidence of mold just from what he could see. So we can assume if you got back there and really dove in, you'd see lots of good mold. So we backed out.
There was also electrical wires hanging down into the water in the crawl space, which is another reason he's like, I ain't going in there, which we don't blame him. There was also, luckily it was raining for like the day of inspection and a couple days prior, and that ended up being a blessing because he also found a roof leak that he's like, I still don't know where it's coming from. And so there's probably no way he would have even known about that if it hadn't been raining. Yeah. So I guess that part all worked out well, but we backed out of the house, and now we're like, oh shit.
Still homeless.
Yes. Still homeless and like really disappointed now. So we have went with our realtor to see some other houses, and we've gone to other open houses, and it's not been fun. Like, I'm tired of this. This adventure that I was like, yeah, we're gonna be nomadic, we're gonna be all these new experiences. We're having plenty of experiences, but I'm ready to have like a permanent home. Me too. I can't do this forever. I miss my kitchen toys and my dishwasher and all the things. So after the day of the bad inspection, we found a local donut shop and ate our feelings in donuts, or at least I did. You were pretty good, but I had multiple donuts, but it's a really good donut shop, so we'll be back. And it's in the town we want to end up in, which is Seymour, Tennessee, so we'd love to find a house there, but it's not going well. Since we've been back in Knoxville, we've gotten together with a bunch of our friends that we missed while we were gone. And, Paul's been playing pool, and as soon as the weather warms up a little bit, I'm sure he'll be walking there because it's less than a mile. So speaking of the weather, we actually got snow here. for the past 2 days, I think it snowed, and there's maybe, what, an inch?
2 inches.
2 inches out there?
Yeah.
And it's a little chilly.
And everything's been shut down for the last 2 days, including us.
Yeah, we haven't really gone anywhere. We were supposed to go meet up with a friend for lunch. We were supposed to go see some houses with our realtor, but nothing happens when it snows here, which I guess is okay. But
You know, you can laugh at that when you're in Minnesota, that somebody gets 2 inches of snow and they shut down, but I wouldn't want to drive on these mountain roads right now.
no,
So I get it.
they don't have the salt here. They're not prepared like in Minnesota. They don't really plow, or they don't have plows. And while we know how to drive on snow and ice, these people don't. So we're gonna stay put because we can't afford to have a car in the shop and not be looking at houses. But I did get to take advantage of the snow the other morning when I was done working out and sweating my ass off. I was like, perfect, I'm gonna go shove my face in some snow. And then my dear husband was there to take a picture.
Well, it was proof that I didn't do it.
So in a nutshell, that's what we've been up to. The house hunt continues. Everybody, you know, if you're a prayer person, say a prayer. If you're like a woo-woo person, send us good juju, like something to find us a house that checks all our boxes, because
By next video, please.
yeah, because it's hard. And we plan on going, we're going to a conference the end of March and then to Minnesota for like 5 weeks. And so that creates a huge challenge. We'd love to have something locked down before we leave, but I don't know, man, we need a miracle at this point. It feels like it.
I'd love to drive a U-Haul back from Minnesota when we come back.
Yes, with the very few possessions we actually did put into storage.
Yes.
And Rudy wants a yard. Hey, buddy. All right, that's all we know. Hopefully next time you see us, we will have some amazing news of a house in...
Be in a better mood.
Yeah, I'm tired of crying. Just kidding. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.